Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I am Nerdarchist Ted, and tonight we're going to play some D&D. It's been a while since this game has kind of hit the air, so I do apologize. So we're not going to go into too crazy depth. You can find a link down in the description to where you can find all of these amazing people when they're not joining us here on the Old Guard. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to our GM for the evening.
Salutations, nerds. I am on a relatively new laptop and I don't have my usual preamble in front of me, so I'm going to ad-lib this and hopefully not do a terrible job. So content warnings are there's a character in this campaign who has lost a child and is having self-harm thoughts about that, and one who has recently started trying to kick a drinking habit and is going through the rigmarole that is that whole drama. And we are going to be picking up with our party after a similarly distanced absence that we have taken in this campaign while Klaus Lionflow has been off on his honeymoon for several months, as it turns out, because that's normal for elves. They live for a really long time. And the party has come on a ship to pick him up at the city where this honeymoon was taking place. And that is where I am going to open on you guys. I'm going to we're on the boat getting ready to head back. I'm going to hit with each and every one of you. I'm going to find out where you are on the ship, what you're doing, and what you've been doing for the past couple of months. So let's start with Gelthor.
Absolutely. So on land and struggling with addiction, he's been a mess. But there's something about being back at sea that kind of puts some of that off to the side. He's still he's actually struggling more currently with his companion and his companion's choice to serve the Dark Lord, as the the expression might go. But with that not right in his face, he tends to find himself up in the crow's nest or hanging from the lines. Despite his age, he still feels far more at home on the sea, closer to the goddess that he serves.
Excellent. Tristan. Let's go Widdershins here.
I was not ready at all.
Sorry.
That's okay. First off, I'm Ace. I play Tristan Marcos, Dwarven Artificer. And for the last few months, I just have to remember where he was at before all this emotionally. Well, first off, this has kind of been a nice excuse to just get away from everything and feel like he's on a proper adventure again, which has sort of dumbed down Tristan's drinking, at least in this little particular journey. And the other reason why there's not so much drinking going on is Tristan gets extremely seasick. He does not have great sea legs, doesn't have legs at all to speak of. And so right now, I think he's probably down below with a bucket and just sitting on his chair trying to hold back whatever he was able to stomach for lunch.
Cool. Klaus, we know what you've been up to, but what have you been up to on the ship since you got back aboard and have started sailing back toward home? Like, what did the honeymoon look like for you? Keep this PG-13, please.
Of course. Of
I
course.
know, I'm joking.
So
I mean, I'm not joking, but I'm joking.
So this honeymoon has been nothing but short of an amazing adventure of sightseeing and exploring deeply the elven culture. And at the same time, going to different parts, showing each other different sites that, kind of inspire us. From the Galvanian high tops to the thickets of the darkest jungles. We've just been out there doing all that. And I kind of see us in the last minute scrapbooking, if you will. Just like, yeah, remember that? That was goofy. That leaf. Oh man. Remember that time I stepped on that thorn and it required a lot more effort than it needed to pull out? Yeah, well, remind me to buy better shoes and, stuff like that.
There were many jokes made about a thorn in the lion flow's paw.
Absolutely. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, stuff like that, just reliving the memories.
All right, and Raziel.
Raziel has, in the company of, and if he's around, particularly Gelthor at all, for the most part, maintains, or rather, I guess he doesn't flout his devotion to, as he calls her, my dark saint. But whenever alone, when at night, early mornings, has become almost like a well, befitting his barbarian class of zealot. He has become quite zealously devoted to her. Yeah, I think you see lots of him in sort of rekindling what it was before, 20 years before, when she was alive. And I think back then it would have seemed almost like a paladin's devotion to someone. In this case, it's definitely a devotion to a patron saint of questionable origin, since he does it in the, I think you see lots of shots of him in the dark with only his eyes glowing, and becoming more familiar with the dark abilities that he's had bestowed upon him. Though it should be noted, in a meta way, he did not take more levels of warlock. He's still a barbarian at heart.
Just the one little dip, huh?
So far.
All right. I'm gonna need survival from everyone. And Gelthor, I need you to make this check with advantage because you are very familiar with the sea and its plants.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Well,
Alright.
I'm too busy throwing up in a bucket. I got 5.
That was a 23.
I got a 17.
13.
Okay, Gelthor and Klaus. You are both aware that there is more moss growing on the ship than it should have on it, and this is not like sea moss. You are not finding barnacles. This isn't the kind of algae you would usually find growing on the side of a boat. It's the kind of algae you would find growing in a forest, and that is most peculiar.
Yeah, can I even say like this is similar to some of the stuff that I've seen on the honeymoon, that's how I recognize it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's as a matter of fact, it is a specific kind of moss that you guys saw all the time while you were in this other country. It
Oh
grows on
man.
trees.
Yeah, I'll definitely let everybody know that, assuming Raziel didn't get that same connection as I did. Like, yeah, that's goofy, man. I should not be there.
I would be going to Tristan right away. You know, the brains here. Be like, this is certainly not normal.
Well, I'm sure it's not. I don't know what you want me to do about it.
Well, I didn't know if you knew anything about how moss could have, like moss from a forest could appear on a ship.
Maybe I don't know. The wood's still alive. It looks really unappetizing. Get it away from me, please.
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm having a moment. I can make a check if you want.
So do we have any kind of ship's mage on board? And I'm more lightning than I am fire.
Um, there isn't anybody who uses fire on board that you know of. Well, there is a wizard, Klaus's wife.
yeah. Believe me, out of the relationship, she's the smart one. She's the one to speak to.
We
So,
know.
is this something to worry about? That's basically what I'm trying to figure out.
So Iridia will take your sample of moss. Do you have it wrapped in anything, or is it just like in your hand?
I'm got an 18 wisdom. If I think it's dangerous, I probably would scoop it up. But if I think it's just a plant, I would just reach down and pull a section off.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense to just reach down and pull a section off because it's not showing any signs of being poisonous or anything. It's just moss that does not belong at sea. So she doesn't think anything of it either, and also takes it in her bare hand. And she's sort of like messing around with it and like looking at the roots on the bottom, and she says, "Give me the evening. I'm going to run some tests, and I will let you know if I think this is going to harm the structure of the ship or not."
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh, could I join you for those tests? If I get something to keep my mind off. Well, you know.
Oh yes, I think that would be a great idea. And she will bring
Okay.
you into the little makeshift lab that she's set up.
So as Tristan is walking away, I guess it's kind of hard to have sea legs when you don't have legs.
Oof.
I'm wheeling away.
Low blow. If anyone thinks it's worth it, I'm willing to spell the spell slot to speak with plants.
Oh,
Figure-
absolutely.
Figure out like, yo, dog, what are you doing here?
All
I
right.
imagine you've been talking to
I
this ship.
completely forgot that this was a thing that you could do, but you have mentioned that it's a thing that you can do several times, and I gave you an excuse to do it last session, if I recall correctly. So yeah, absolutely. You can speak with plants on the moss. But when you do,
Mhm.
there's you know what moss sounds like. You know what like rudimentary plants feel like when you touch minds with them. This does not feel like that, and it feels wrong.
Oof.
It is more intelligent than moss should be, but it doesn't feel alive.
Hmm. Okay.
Like, doesn't feel like alive, like undead, or
Kinda, yeah. Like that is what this feels like to you. You know what it feels like to be around ghosts and stuff. You felt that before. You get that chill making contact and brushing minds with this moss. It's angry.
I mean, I have speak with dead too, but but you know, we're not gonna go there. I'm just
Pro GM tip: if there are spellcasters in your party, always be aware for speak with dead, speak with plants, speak with
Oh,
animals.
I'm here for it. That makes this much more interesting.
Speak with dead plants. Is that what you said you had?
I think we
Yes.
said
I
I can
mean,
speak to
yeah, like-
furniture technically.
He's been talking to the mast
I
for
will-
3 days.
I will allow you to spread your speak with plants to speak with dead plants and have a normal conversation with like the thing that is haunting the ship if you want to.
Absolutely, but I'll use 2 spell slots.
All right. So while he is talking to the dead plants, can I investigate and just see if I can follow along? Where it's growing. See if maybe I can find out if it's possible an origin point of where it attached itself.
Yes. Go ahead and make the roll now, and I will get back to you when I'm done with the dead talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so
All right.
I
Yes.
guess I would inquire I guess to shave some time off of Rydia's research, just flat out ask, you're clearly not supposed to be here. What causes you to latch onto the side of this dead wood as if it was alive?
You are sailing in my corpse.
That shocks the hell out of me, and I'm just like, oh no. Guys, we seem to entered, no pun intended, the bowels of the plant.
I was
Um,
just about to ask what you think he's talking to that plant about, but he's already telling us.
well, it's pretty shocking news. I wouldn't keep to myself immediately. I apologize to say, how can we make this rectified?
Make this rectified. Can you raise the dead? There is no soil here.
But I can revivify. Is that,
Revivify has a pretty strict time limit.
that's true.
Um,
I'm also not talking to it.
Well, I would be translating as this stuff's happening, you know, for anyone listening in. So feel free to jump in with stuff if you guys want to.
Galfor, you are following the line of moss, and you started doing this before the conversation started. So I'm gonna get to like you've gone below deck at this point and are like sort of following. They're like veins along the walls of the ship, but on the outside of the hull and on the inside, and it's leading you below.
Okay. I'll keep going.
All right. So down the stairs and in an interior room, you can sort of feel a miasma in the back here, and it's just this coalescence of energy. And it does feel wrong. Once again, it feels very necrotic. You, as a cleric, you know what undeath feels like, and it's centered on this spot.
Now, I spent this isn't the ship that I spent time on, right? This is a different one.
Yeah, you switched ships after you got to the town where Klaus's honeymoon is, and like
okay.
then got on the ship for the return trip.
All right. So if I'm not familiar, have I never been down this way in the months, or would I have explored the whole ship?
Okay, so you haven't been on the ship for months. You were on a
Okay.
different ship to get here, and then this is a different ship that's on the return vessel. So you've been on the ship for a couple of days at most.
Okay.
And probably haven't explored this room, no.
Okay. All right. So I have to assume it's been here the entire time. Again, I'm not foolish. I'm not going to just leap ahead into danger. So I will backtrack cautiously and make sure I know
Okay.
how I got here. And I will call forth my companions.
All right. Pause there, Tristan. As this is going on, you are working with Iridia in the lab. And she is testing this moss, but give me perception. Or insight, whichever you prefer.
Seems
What's
pissed
higher?
off because an asshole's talking to it. Like,
Oh, and if you want to use intelligence for those skills instead, you can sub that in.
That would be great. So that would be in perception of 19.
So she isn't putting the moss down. It has stayed in her hand the entire time she's been working, and there have been moments where she really probably should have, like, to weigh it, but she hasn't. It's stayed in her hand, and it's spreading. Back to the rest of the party. Raziel, are you doing anything in particular while all of this is going on?
I think that hearing what Klaus has said, not being of any use in the lab, I would probably accompany Gelthor. I think that would be the thing that I would do. So I'm wherever
Okay.
Gelthor is, I'm there.
So you were with him below deck when he found the haunted room. Does that change that scene at all, Gelthor?
Definitely makes it more creepy. Especially if I'm the one following and he's right behind me. There's probably like a little bit more caution in my steps.
All right. So the two of you get back to the top deck to find Klaus, where he's been having his conversation with this moss. Klaus, is there anything else that you want to say to the moss before we progress?
I guess not knowing things are goofy everywhere else. I guess I would try to be I guess I would try to be somewhat useful to flat out ask. You say we're swimming in on you, but this is where you originated, or do you come from somewhere else?
And you are blasted with the mental image of a mainland tree on a hill, very idyllic, very mystical, and you can feel the charge of something more about that tree. It's the same wood the ship is made of.
Oh no. Oh no. Those are the thoughts going through Klaus. Oh no.
I'm also going to need Klaus to make a wisdom save.
Sure.
DC 14.
Sure. Let's see if I'm lucky. We start with inspiration, yes?
Yes.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna burn it because I rolled a Uno. Let's see. My next roll's a little bit more productive. Come on, don't be shy. Roll. Roll. Screw it, go acapella like manual. It didn't help me out. I got a grand total of 10.
So you should know the spirit. It's a trusted friend to be heeded and protected. You're not under control per se, but you feel a kinship with this creature, and you know that it means you no harm,
Okay.
and that its counsel should be weighted heavily.
Okay.
And this is about the point that Gelthor and Raziel re-emerge on deck.
Yeah. Oof. Like, okay, it's fun. Am I also randomly holding it too, or is like, you know what, it ain't that bad?
I mean, yeah, you can be holding the moss if you want to, but it isn't spreading on you.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know that wisdom save had like epically dangerous consequences like now you're, I don't know, moss parasited or something. It controls me like a mech or something, you know?
So, Gelthor, Raziel, you see Klaus is standing and still in communion with the moss. Klaus, what does this look like?
Oof. It's something where I don't know, I guess like I've remained fascinated on it as it's showing me these visions. And while it may not mean harm, I find myself a bit of enamored of it, trying to like play with it a little bit, not don't know if it's gonna move out of the way or not as I play with it, but not in a violent way because I don't need it like biting me, like I said. But
So, do you share the fact that it's, this is a dead thing and we're swimming through its corpse?
yeah, I definitely I would imagine as you guys see me messing around with it, you break my concentration.
Do do we have anywhere amongst us a gem worth 500 gold?
Brother, I saw one back in one of the areas we were exploring, but Iridia said it was best to leave. And a relic like that where it was. If I
Then it doesn't
knew
matter how
it
long
was
it's been dead.
if I knew we needed it, man, I would have brought it along, but you know how these things are.
No worries.
If we had a gem worth 500 gold, I would think we would have booked better, more fancier words are escaping me. We would have booked a fancier ship.
Yeah, but this thing was like the size of a squirrel's brain. It was pretty chunky, man. Definitely
This,
dense and weighted.
and maybe we wouldn't be dealing with an infestation of, and kind of almost looking disgusted at some of this moss that's growing on here.
Completely understand.
Should we attempt to purge this?
I don't
Is it doing
know.
any damage to the ship?
Yes.
It is doing some damage to the wood, yes.
All right, then it's got to go. I mean, our safety's a thing. You can't lose the ship out at sea. That's
Yeah.
sailing 101.
Yeah, otherwise we'll join it. You know
Okay.
what? If I still have speak with plant on, but hey, that thing you're doing to us, can you knock it out, Buster? You know?
Like you just feel in response like seething anger. Like just this impression of this is my body, I will do what I want with it, so help me.
Yeah. Like, oof, it's definitely guys, it's definitely bent on that. But before we attempt anything, I think we should gather up first.
All right. Treston, you are still in the lab with Iridia.
Yes.
Are you doing anything about the moss situation? Like, how are you handling this now that you've had a minute to think?
Already, I think you got something kind of
Oh, is there something in my teeth? And she like leans into a beaker and starts picking at them
it's
with her
on.
free hand.
Maybe you should hand me the moss. I can give it away and maybe try to give it a closer look. And I'm gonna reach out
Oh,
with my metal hand.
she will pull off a chunk and hand it to you.
Right. Um, I think Klaus is calling you. You should probably go and see to him. Leaving the rest of that here.
And she smiles at that and she's like, you know what, you're right. I haven't seen Klaus in hours. And she like turns and starts to wander out carrying the moss with her.
Iridia,
Hmm?
will you please hand me the moss, all of it? I want to see how it. Add it there.
And she starts walking back over to you and then she pauses, holds it for a moment and goes, no. I'm sorry,
Why
I
not?
want to, but I can't.
Why can't you?
My hand isn't moving.
Right.
I'm telling it to, it just isn't moving.
I don't know.
Perhaps you could come take, and then her legs turn her around and she starts walking out of the room again and she's like,
Can I let go of the moss that I'm holding on to with my
Yes.
metal hand? Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
drop that on the table and like reach forward and take her shoulder.
All right. I'm not gonna make you roll for this. You are definitely stronger than the nerdy wizard.
I'm also still in my wheelchair. I've not mech'd
Well,
up
yeah,
yet.
I know, but you've like I imagine your prosthetics have some power behind them,
Yeah.
and she's rather wayfish. We will put it that way.
All right.
So you were able to stop her from walking out of the room.
It's a little bit awkward because I'm sitting on my wheelchair. I'm sort of reaching out with my one metallic hand and like grabbing her by the waist because that's probably about where height lands. And like
And
kind
that's the moment Klaus walks in.
of it's the moss won't. It's making her leave.
Yeah. Hello, dear. I'm not trying to walk. He actually is stopping me for my own good.
Right. That.
Okay. I think we have much bigger problems. I assume we're. Okay, for comedy's sake, I'll say I walked in first, but I'm assuming we're all together at this point.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
cool.
everybody's in the lab now.
Like I imagine Gelthor and Raziel's like, right, like what in the world? Yeah, and I guess we debrief saying like, "Yo, we are swimming through this."
More than that,
Things-
there is some kind of foul presence in the bowels of the ship. I don't know if it's connected to this moss, whether it's something drawn to the moss or something else entirely.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But it doesn't seem to be attaching to my metal arm, so I think there's something about it connecting with organic.
Does the
I will point out that Gelthor and Klaus also touched the moss with their bare hands, and it is not doing this to them.
so what is it about you that is causing it to grow?
About the both of you. Well, yeah. Klaus
Well-
did touch it too.
And she's like thinking really hard about this, and maybe a little bit too hard, and says, "None of you are wizards, maybe."
I mean, I'm wizard adjacent.
That's true. If it were the magic,
We
that
all-
would have done it.
We all touch the weave. And there is even like a side eye over to Raziel when I say all. Because I've
Ooh.
seen you use magic, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like if Speak with Plans is still active, I imagine like, "We, you're calling us a we?" Like just getting like, "What? You insult us?" Type that.
Is the
I'm
is the plant, this organism, is it a singular creature?
There's
Yes.
one way to find out. Is this like ever present, like growing on different surfaces, or
Mhm.
we're in? So there's like weed that I can grab, moss weed, whatever
Yes.
that I can grab. I would like to, if you'll allow it. When Gelthor says that, I say there's one way to find out, and I'm going to grab a handful of it, and I'm basically going to just within the confines of my hand, I'm going to Eldritch blast it.
So I'm going to need you to roll initiative because the second you do that, Iridia sends a magic missile at you.
Iridia does.
Uh-huh.
Dang.
Nice.
And as she's doing this, she's saying, "I'm not doing this. I'm not trying to do this. I'm sorry."
I did not mean
my
to
wife!
look. I did not mean to piss off Klaus's wife.
Slay his wife.
All right. Good thing I have whatever it's called, feral something. I get advantage on my initiative rolls now.
I'm gonna give her disadvantage because she's not really the one doing this.
It's something about reflexes there, Jake.
What's that?
I think it's called like feral reflexes or something along those lines.
Yeah, I can't remember.
She has a 7, by the way.
Oh man.
I got an 18
I
on my
Okay, great.
initiative.
Roll in
So-
on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, by all means.
But
I,
I'm gonna
um,
say I wouldn't react until after Iridia's gone, because I wouldn't know she was doing anything weird.
Yeah,
that's
fine, 'cause I got a 1.
Right. She and Raziel get a surprise round, and then everybody else slots in.
Yeah, because I got a nat 20.
All right. So, Raziel, you go first, and I know you are mincing the moss. Is there anything else you do on your turn?
I mean, the plan was basically just to. I'm assuming by grabbing a fistful of this that it's just going to disintegrate when I hit it with the Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely what happens, and then you have a magic missile going off in your face.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, I don't know that I can even do anything to mitigate that.
It's only 5 damage. She rolled very poorly.
I'm just gonna see. I just don't think. I mean, I do have something I could do in retaliation, but I'm not going to hellish rebuke Klaus's wife.
Thanks. Highly appreciate
Not
it,
yet.
brother.
Not yet, anyway. No, I'll take the magic missile hits. She said it was 5 damage.
Yeah, she looks absolutely horrified. Like, there is no way she actually wanted to do that.
So the only attack though is coming from her.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would even rage at this point. There's nothing compelling that. So yeah, I'm just gonna blast that one moss, take the hits, and I am going to turn and look at Iridia. And I think almost reflexively, my other hand grips my cane a little tighter where my sword is concealed. But I
I'm
don't
sorry,
even
I'm
draw
sorry,
that.
I'm sorry.
What?
It's right there.
What was that about?
I didn't mean to. And she's like holding her hand down with her other hand.
Is she still holding on to the moss?
Yes.
You know, I get 2 Eldritch Blasts per attack. Or per action. I would like to move over to her, and I'm gonna try to grab her hand with the moss in it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to do the same thing. I know she's holding it, and she's probably gonna get hurt from this, but I'm gonna try to blast this moss that's in her hand with the Eldritch Blast.
Okay. At this point, the surprise round is over, and technically Klaus has a higher initiative than you, so I will allow him to interfere if he
Yeah.
wants to.
Yeah, because like you're about to go like blast a nuke in her face. Like, oh no, I'm
Mini
literally just
nuke.
gonna. Yes, it's a mini nuke.
In her
'cause, like,
hand, not her face.
What is it? 2d10, right? It's enough. Like like literally. So I don't know. I think I would jump into the Eldritch Blast. Honestly.
Oh.
I think I would do that honestly, because like it's like, oh no, man, I got healing spells. Tis but a flesh wound, you know. And
Yeah, the moss approves, by the way.
uh, and yeah, I'll take that hit for sure. In fact, I think I I don't know. You know what? I say I don't know if you'll let me do a persuasion or intimidation check for this, or whatever check needed, but like I'll definitely say she is of no use to you. If you want somebody stronger, attach onto me.
All right,
Is
roll it.
okay.
Persuasion, because you're talking to Iridia still, even if it's not, sort of.
So the grand total will be a 29.
So there's a moment, a little flicker in her features, a smile that is not hers. It is her face, but it is not her smile, and it is very unnerving. I can't.
Oh no. Um
There is not a drop of fey blood in your veins.
Is she
Um,
still touching the moss? Is there moss on her?
Yeah, it's like it's started to creep up her wrist. She doesn't have to actively hold on to it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess the only question at this point is how much did that Eldritch Blast do, Jake?
One second. Eldritch Blast is 1d10 plus 1. That's 9 for the first beam. The second
First
one,
beam, you say?
they were 9. I did 2 of them total. I did the one I blasted, and then the second one was the one I believe you interceded. So yeah,
Yes.
9 force damage.
Okay. I mean, okay, I'll take it. Like literally, she's a wizard. I have a higher hit die than her, you know. So it's like, boom, and I use before I just like, oh, I'll hurt. Like I say, like it's her blood. It wants, and I'll be my turn.
All right. I believe that brings us to Raziel because you are 18.
So I guess I'm kind of looking at the others. What are we attacking? And then I kind of look at Gelthor. Do we need to go back downstairs?
I have a plan. It's it's a crapshoot.
I have a backup plan. And I'm going to I don't believe this will harm her. So I am going to do this is an Asimar ability. I am going to do my Celestial Revelation, which is different under the influence of St. Adelaide. As I say, I have a backup plan. My eyes, instead of flashing white like they usually do when I rage, the light actually seems to momentarily go out of them completely, and then it's that sort of black and white flame. At the same time, ghostly black and white flame wings sprout from my back and sort of unfurl, and it's almost, I imagine the lighting on my face is like Galadriel when offered the ring.
Cool.
And I'm going to look right at Iridia, but I'm speaking to whatever this entity is. You will not overwhelm us. You will leave us. And she and or it will have to make a charisma saving throw or be frightened until the end of my next turn.
Okay. Doot, doot. Rolling. Oh,
The DC is 13.
okay. Well, the result is an 8.
Oh.
So, frightened creatures. Does that necessarily entail having to move as far away from you as possible, or is that a specific thing that's like for magical fear?
Fear means
It's
you have
fear.
disadvantage on attack rolls, and you cannot move closer to the thing you're afraid of.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, that.
I think it's only turn undead that compels them to move as far
Right.
away as they can.
Yep.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Let's see. That was my action.
Yes.
My bonus actions. I'm I'm gonna say no because I'm holding on everything because I don't want to target her specifically with anything if I can avoid it.
Okay.
So
I
yeah, that'll be the end of my turn.
appreciate I highly appreciate it, Jake.
But
Thanks.
for the next
Gelthor,
minute, I've got these wings and this sort of horrific visage almost.
and I'm going to say that you have got her like deadlocked in a corner of this room, and she's not able to like get past you to get out of it right now. Gelthor, you are up with a 14.
All right.
Is she
so
still like right next to me? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, she's between you and Klaus.
Okay.
all right. So I step fully in front of obviously this is a small room, I imagine.
Yeah.
But I come full into view, and my eyes begin to crackle with lightning, and the lightning kind of like shoots out of the corner of my eyes and comes down my hand, and I send the lightning targeting the moss that is on her arm as I cast a banishment.
Ooh, smart Ted, very smart Ted.
So-
How does this work mechanically? I haven't read it in a while.
So basically, it's a charisma saving throw.
Mhm.
DC is 16. If they fail, pop, they go somewhere else. If she passes,
Total
it doesn't-
10. And so there's a creak and a shudder in the entirety of the ship, and then nothing. And Iridia kind of like brings her hands up, and she looks around and looks pretty nervous, and she's like, "Is it done?"
Are
And you're
you
pretty sure
yourself?
it is. Yeah, I can move all my fingers and things.
So I yell up from down below. I yell up to the captain, furl the sails. I know enough about placement. If the creature comes back in a minute, our ship's not going to be in the same place. Therefore, hopefully, we can navigate past whatever this is. And then I go up to see whether there's still stuff on the side of the ship.
All right. There is still stuff on the side of the ship, but it doesn't seem to be actively spreading anymore. There is a visual difference in this normal moss that is starting to slough off now that it's not being held there magically, and like what it was doing before.
Are we still in initiative?
No.
All right. Then I would make sure to tell everybody, do not let the moss touch you, just in case somebody else has got some fey blood and awakens this thing again.
I'm gonna convert my wheelchair into my suit of armor, and then take a minute and kind of grab some cloth and do a little bit of magic tinkering, and then wrap it around me. And as it does, it has like the drapings and the tail of a manta ray.
Cool.
Nice.
And then I'm going to take a shot of whiskey because I feel like that's gonna help me with my sea legs. Maybe that's all gone. It's just rum. And then I'm gonna go on deck and start kind of blasting off some of the moss from the side with my firebolt cantrip.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can clear it off fairly easily if it's not being held on by magic. And you guys get to this. You do it for about a minute, and then the moss starts clinging on again. The ship is in a different place.
Well, that didn't seem to do much for too long.
In that intervening minute, I would have dropped my radiant consumption, but I would have cast mage armor on myself.
Okay.
So now Raziel, doing nothing to assuage Gelthor's suspicion, Raziel now has a faint white-black smoke that just sort of drifts off him like that dry ice effect.
Oh, I love that.
For the next 8 hours.
Interesting.
Yeah, Klaus would literally just walk over to Iridia and grab her hand and say, "Are you all right?"
I am all right, but I don't think I'm going to be touching that moss again.
Please don't. Like, yeah, I would have not known what happened if. Let's not even get there.
There's something that I need to talk to you about, though. It felt odd. Something wasn't right about it. But whatever it was that was sharing my skin for a moment was definitely a fae.
Hey, like,
Is she talking to just Klaus or to the group?
The group is there. She is
Yeah.
talking to Klaus, but you can hear her.
yeah.
If it was Fae and undead, that's fairly specific. Those things don't usually cross.
No. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm not sure how. I don't like it.
I come back in from outside and go, well, I didn't do much good burning it all away. It's coming back. Sorry.
Well, if this blasted pile of grass wants this piece, I say we give it to him and be on our way as soon as possible.
That might work. Um, I suppose, unless she's determined to take us down with her.
Figure out what it wants.
She is furious. Furious and thinks that she's been murdered.
Wait. Maybe she has been.
Are we to solve a crime then? Is that what it wants?
I don't know. It might help. I imagine it can't hurt if we figure out what happened here, maybe.
Your spell lasts a bit of time there, Klaus. It certainly hasn't been long
Has-
enough.
It hasn't been a full 10 minutes, I don't think, at least. But
If we communicate with it and not have Iridia touch it anymore,
yeah.
then perhaps we can glean what it wants and let it go its merry way, and we go ours.
Yeah, like I think it's getting close to the 10-minute mark since I last cast a spell, but with the last couple of moments.
It couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
banishment is only 1 minute, and we've been doing like thing. It's like it's been 54 minutes since we started playing, but in game it's been a very
Well,
short amount
yeah.
of time.
I meant speak with plans because speak with plans last for 10.
Yeah, and so you cast it, you had a conversation with the moss, everybody went downstairs. Iridia got demossed, and that like little faff happened. Then you guys came back up, and a minute passed since the banishment, which was below deck. So yeah, it's not been 10 minutes.
Literally, because no lie, I'm just thinking about what happened to me, man. Hey, devil grass, wake up!
That's
I am
pretty cool,
always
man.
awake.
What do you want? We'll be on our way, but you won't seem to keep ensnaring.
I want the shipwright dead.
The shipwright? That so like what? What you mean? What do you mean? Like why?
Because he killed me. I want him dead. I want him hollowed out. I want seeds planted in his innards.
I translate all of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty specific.
I don't see that happening.
Oh, wait. It wants a shipwright to be killed because
Well, specifically that one.
did that shipwright build this ship?
Yes.
The maker of the ship isn't on the ship, is it?
No.
Oh. Well then, sure, we'll find him. Gotta let us go first.
Promise
So you-
me. Give me your word on your name.
All right,
I
here's
can't.
here's a tricky situation. There is no way for me to hear this thing speaking, right?
Give me
Um,
a flat D20 roll and tell me what you get.
Well, all of my D20s are three-dimensional, none of them are flat.
Ha.
I got a 2.
Okay. Then no.
Okay.
I mean, I would translate up
no, I
unt-
wanted the insight,
uh
but I can't insight the creature talking if it's going through you as an intermediary.
but
You can go based off of what Klaus has been saying and what you saw when she was possessing Iridia, but it will be at disadvantage.
That's fair. I'll take the disadvantage roll.
yeah, because
While you're
I would be
inciting, I'm just looking at Klaus.
yeah, because
This
Make no deals with Fae involving your name. Give nothing to the Fae.
disadvantage is 17.
Damn, you rolled good.
Yeah. Okay. What are you trying
no,
to
it's actually a
discern?
5. I have expertise and insight.
Yeah. How? What are you trying to discern?
I wanted to discern, how truthful they're being. Like,
Oh,
is what they're saying, accurate, or are we on some
yes.
kind of like wild goose chase?
Yes. What she's saying is completely accurate. She's being absolutely honest with you. She is a Fae spirit that is haunting this ship. She really, truly believes the shipwright murdered her.
To bring this man to justice.
What she
But-
said was, "You are in my corpse."
So-
Yeah.
So is this creature like was that a spirit bound to the wood that the ship is made of?
Bingo, Gelthor.
Oof.
You get that confirmed by that little voice that goes off in the back of your head when your goddess thinks you've been particularly clever.
So then I would counterpoint. Is it the shipwright or was it not the woodcutter? Or are they one and the same?
And that settles on the vessel, on the spirit in the vessel. And Klaus, the next thing you get is, I want you to kill the carpenter and plant seeds in his flesh and gut him. I want nothing left in his ribs but cargo.
Not
Like he
hearing
left
this.
me.
I would like go over to Gelthor and be like, I think if we get on this path, she's just gonna start pointing out more people she could kill. Cause like
Yeah,
then
because
talking
like
about the people who the logger and
Yeah.
as a crafter myself, I'm really concerned about
Klaus,
that guy that
Can-
bought me. I don't like that guy too.
can this
The
can this
marketer, him
creature
too.
can this creature understand us?
Oh yeah, she's
Or-
commenting on everything everybody's saying out loud.
No, like,
Like-
I don't know how much Klaus is having to like take our words back or whether she's responding or whether this creature is responding based off of what we're just saying.
Yeah, she is. I'm informing Klaus of that right now. That yes, she
Okay.
is responding to the things that people are saying out loud. You don't have to translate for the party.
Yeah, like yeah, she
so-
hears you. Or they hear
so-
you.
So I don't know whether you refer to us as mortals or unfey. I don't know what your terminology is, but here in not the Feywild, that isn't how we do things. We would have to figure out whether this carpenter or woodcutter maliciously cut down your home and slew you, or whether it was a process of accidental.
And what
I
happens if it was
understand that once-
accidental?
What?
What happens if it was accidental?
Well, then it would be probably some form of restitution to your next of kin for the wrongdoings that were done to you.
Silence for a long moment. Then what would that look like?
I mean, generally it comes to some kind of arbitration. It comes down to trying to find a way to make things as right as possible. Uh, Clearly, there is no returning you back to, I assume, tree that you once were. Um, but perhaps, you know, perhaps this woodcutter serves your kind. Lets people know and finds a way to note which trees are inhabited by spirits and which ones aren't. Humanity uses wood all the time to build ships and homes and what have you. They do the same. But ignorance is no excuse, but it is a scenario that, allows things like this to happen.
Yeah. Being a person of the courts, I feel like I would know if there are laws against harboring like the dismant or the cutting down of for lack of better words, trees that are imbued with magical properties.
Klaus, actually, you're still in contact with the entity when Gelthor starts talking about this, and like at specific points in while Gelthor is talking, you get the impression of the word, what this thing is, what she is. Dryad.
Oof, vicious one. Vicious, vicious, very vindictive. Yes. I say if this person is truly guilty, don't you think death is a quick release? Why not prolong his suffering for the rest of his life?
That does
Rotting
not grow more
away.
trees.
It won't grow more trees, but I myself will plant more if you wish it. But
Give me persuasion. You can have advantage on that because she was just riding along with Iridia and she likes you.
He's
Oh,
an
nice.
eloquence bard. He doesn't need advantage.
I mean, my bare min's 29, 90.
Oh, yeah. All right.
9.
So, no, that's completely acceptable to her, actually. The deck rattles and up
Since you
from
asked, 31. What?
yeah, up from the wood rises just a seed. It's just like sitting there on the wood now. It's brown. It's like about yay size, like a little compact. And you know what to do with it. And like really that's all she wants.
This person will
This
suffer
would
immensely.
this would slake your need for revenge.
Plant this tree. Warn people when you speak to them of lumber. And
Hmm.
yes,
So could you at least tell us, where you called home so that we can inform others to make sure that those like yourself uh, won't be harmed.
it was called Rhapsody Hill. I do not know if any of us survived.
Oh. So I imagine maybe Tristan or Klaus is more the history buff or geography buff. Do either of you know where Rhapsody Hill would be? Because I certainly don't.
Justin doesn't know what you're talking about because I can't hear it talking.
I definitely translate.
Klaus, also, you don't need to roll to know this because you got it put into your head earlier when she was trying to like communicate to you what she was and you got the flash of the tree. You've seen it before.
Yeah, I definitely disclose that.
You've
That's
seen
an
the
18
tree.
history.
Bro, I was basically there.
You saw her tree before it was cut down.
Indeed.
No, not physically. You were not physically there. You got the
Oh,
mental
okay.
impression of the
All
yeah.
right. Okay, all right. My
Felt like
my
I was
brain
there.
interprets things differently. Thank you for
It felt.
clarifying.
It definitely felt
Right.
like I was there.
And Tristan, you know that Rhapsody Hill has been under the protection of dryads for many generations, but it isn't something that you would expect a common woodcutter to have been informed of because it wasn't really something that was common knowledge among the people in that nation at the time. It probably was an accident.
Well, I know where that's at, and that's protected by dryads, but I imagine most didn't know that. So, sure, it was an accident, but gotta find a way to keep that area protected. I'm sure, at least from ignorant fools.
I mean, where protection is one thing to be looked at, but I think to enslaver safe travels, this shipwright needs to be brought to justice, especially if they harmed one mystical tree as such.
I mean, they likely didn't know any better.
I get it, man, but there's laws about this, man. I mean, hey, what are you
again,
going to do?
again, ignorance is not, an acceptable justification. It's not cause for dire punishments such as, death and, being stuffed with plants, but making sure that those around and future generations know not to touch inhabited plants. It's
Oh, yeah.
definitely a better way of moving forward.
I mean, of
I mean,
course.
this shipwright's action had real life world repercussions. What if we get to speak to these plants to get to the bottom of this particular mystery? A poor soul. Who knows how many poor souls cross this land? Be dragged down below for a crime that they had no part of.
And as you're explaining this, you're sort of getting a vibe off of the dead dryad, like a hesitation, a rethinking, if you will, of her courses of action, like maybe a hint of guilt. She's never felt guilt before. It's a very uncomfortable thing.
So what is her plans now? Is she to stay within the ship? Is she looking to be transported back to ground?
The seed is to plant a tree that is progeny of the one that she inhabited. It will harbor another dryad. She
Right.
fully intends to pass on, but she'll drop you off first. If you want to not tell the captain, she won't be upset.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's best to keep. I mean, as much as I'm all about information.
Oh no, if you don't
getting
tell the
out.
captain, she's going to drown him. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, whatever keeps the captain from meeting Davy Jones' locker. Yeah.
Is Klaus like relayed that she intends to pass on? Because I've got questions. I'm not part of the conversation.
No,
Well, you
Klaus
can
has been
answer your
repeating
questions and then
anyway.
Klaus
Yeah,
answers.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm keeping
what-
everyone in the loop.
I'm just when she says pass on, she means like what? Like not be a ship
To
anymore.
expire.
What does that mean for a ship though? Like
Well, she's not a ship. She's a spirit. She's
right.
a
And
fae.
she's going to drown the captain if she passes on because
Yeah.
the boat's going to sink.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm
physically what
hearing?
it means is that the ship will sink.
So, like, isn't there a way we could talk to her about not doing that? Because, like, then the ship's lost too. It's a beautiful ship.
Is there a way to take her spirit back to soil? Maybe find a new tree.
Tristan, I want you to give me a persuasion check because I know the way you feel about vehicles and machines.
I mean, yeah.
I kind of feel you're gonna make it like a dryad mecha.
This is lovely. Yeah. Can we have Klaus roll this for me, please?
I think that'd be busted. I think it's
Oh, I
more.
mean, because it's a natural one,
You
which
do
is a
have
2.
inspiration.
I'll use it because that's my second nat one. Okay, that's a 20.
Okay.
Not a natural
Yes!
20, but that's a
That's
dirty.
fine. Dirty 20 is plenty good enough. She's like, she had not thought about it like that before. That she thought of the ship as just her corpse, as like people walking around inside her rib cage, pottering around, putting their goods inside her body. Like, but you framing it that way, like she actually pauses and thinks about that for a minute. And it's kind of like that scene in Legend where like there's the hag and like the character gets out of it by telling her that she's really beautiful and stuff. Like you can feel the flattery working.
So I'll go a step further. Like you were able to kind of inhabit Iridia, and Iridia was able to share a space with you. Now, is there a way for you to find someone that you would accept to be bound to, or again, can we bring you to soil and set you to rest, or is there a way for you to pass on to the next realm without needing to go down with the ship?
If you find me an elf that is willing to captain this vessel and become my symbiont, then I will sail for them.
Why
That's cool.
why must it be an elf?
Because I am incapable of bonding with anyone else. You do not have Fey blood. None of your companions have Fey blood. Dr. Iridia did.
But
We
they
not
they make
reattached to
deals
her
with
for the
non-Fey all
meanwhile.
the time.
You think it would be possible to do this through a binding?
I can imagine so.
Yes, I think I could accept that. No, it doesn't have to be an elf if we can find a way around it.
So I think in my head, with a prayer to Narine, would she have a problem with me taking this on, knowing that it is vastly different than what I had done with Adelaide? That I am seeking to allow a spirit that was malicious to not be so anymore.
She approves entirely. As a matter of fact, if you do this, she will give you the power to convert the plants on the ship to something more seaworthy.
So I reach out my hand to the direction of the moss that Klaus is holding. Uh, I offer myself. I have spent quite a lot of time, a decade in fact, sailing the seas. I know boats like a seasoned sailor, and I would not like to see those here harmed through inaction because you wish to pass on.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. You can definitely do this. Noreen is in your corner. You feel more powerful out here at sea than you do anywhere else, but you can't do it alone. It's going to be a party effort. And so we're going to go into an extended skill challenge.
Sweet.
What I need from everyone is we're going to set up a ritual. I need you to tell me what you are doing to help fuel the ritual in the form of a skill, and I am going to need a spell slot from everyone. Or yeah.
All right.
Thank God the spellcasters are here.
So I'm going to extrapolate the aspect of Noreen, who is in storms and the sea, absolutely is a religious natural occurrence. and something I feel kind of attaches to the vengeance that this creature was, looking to enact. So I would like to make a religion check, and you want a spell slot, so I will go full bore, and because I'm offering myself, I will pour a 5th level spell slot into it.
Hell yeah. All right. What did you get in your religion check?
All right, let's roll it up. All right, that is a 19 on the die, so 25.
Fantastic.
Nice.
We're going Widdershins again, Treston.
Right. I would like to get out my tinkering tools and start to kind of fiddle with so because this is it's still a device in my mind. So I'm thinking it's a non-magical object, and I can do some infusion work here, and hoping to use the spell slot instead of a long-term infusion slot.
Okay, yeah.
And I am gonna roll Arcana because that makes the most sense. But I think what I want. Oh, I got it. What I want to do is I want to make something, some kind of token that that Gelthor. I don't know why I blanked on Ted's character's name. That Gelthor can wear that sort of marks him as the vessel for this vessel.
Yeah,
Does that
I like
make
that a lot. I
sense?
dig it.
All right.
It does.
And that is a cockeyed roll, so I'm gonna re-roll it. Okay, that's a 22 Arcana.
Awesome. Which brings us to Klaus.
So, I'm gonna pour a 5th level spot too because I'm like, yo, don't do that again to my wife, man. Like, here, whatever you need, take it. And I'm gonna. I know persuasion or intimidate, whatever. All my charisma stuff's busted, and I'm
Oh,
not gonna
please
do
don't.
that.
Oh, you
I-
can. It hasn't
well,
been used yet.
well, I mean, my persuasion and my deception are busted for my
Yeah, but you rolled
character.
your character that way on purpose. You're allowed to use the abilities on your character sheet.
Of course, but I'm gonna be fun and use performance instead, which is still
Hell
good
yeah,
enough.
let's go.
Like the way I'll do this is like I don't know if this ritual. I use kind of like whatever Fey related rituals that I've seen. I'm gonna do my best to kind of like do these interpretive dances. You know what I mean? To kind of like help out
Cool.
with the passing of this. Alrighty. All right, 26.
All right, awesome. And then Raziel.
I'm glad you didn't use persuasion because that's what I was going to use. But what I'm going to do is offer up my remaining first level spell slot, which is as high as I have. And I want to use, I'm using my persuasion to persuade the warlock abilities that have been imbued upon me, and essentially trying to persuade my patron, my dark saint Adelaide, using that spell slot and imbuing, similar to the mage armor, a protective aura over this talisman that Treston has created.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that a lot. Treston, would you like to describe this talisman?
Right. So
Oh,
at some
sorry.
point-
Were you?
I was
Did I
just
cut you off?
I was just rolling my persuasion.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. Sorry. That's very important.
Yeah, I did okay, but I'm gonna re-roll it to see if I can get higher. I should not have re-rolled it. I wound up with a 9.
Well, if you're using your inspiration to
Okay.
reroll, you still use the higher of the two.
Okay, then in that case it would be a 17.
Sweet. Treston.
Right. So at some point, Tristan will like. So far, I've talked to this thing through Klaus and kind of through Gelthor. And at one point, I'll kind of like walk up to part of the ship and like put a tentative hand on it, but like, so I'm gonna need something from you that I can use to make a little medallion of sorts that will help link you and Gelthor together.
Mm.
And you hear the creaking of the wood. There's a little bit of splitting like there was when the seed came through. It's you know how wood grain has like those lines on it and they sort of look like fingerprints. You can sort of see them like moving as the plank beneath you splits and like rises up a knot of wood that you are then able to give a shape to.
Okay, I'll like take it. And
So what does that look like?
I pull out my knife and I'm like, kind of looking hesitantly at the ship, like I'm meaning no disrespect here, and I'm gonna start carving a compass into this knot of wood.
Oh, that is very cool. I like that a lot.
And as I began to carve this compass, I take a little metal pin, stick it in the middle, and hook a little metal spinning bit to it. Um, and then I infuse a bit of magic and create this like electric charge so that the as the metal like moves to point towards whatever cardinal direction the it's sort of being leaving behind tracers of lightning uh to kind of help with denote Gelthor's
As
own
as
divine
I see
purpose.
him doing this, I walk up to see here. All right. I guess I take like the tip of my spear and I prick my finger and let a drop of blood seep into the center point of the compass. So that
Yeah, that
the
is
item is fused of technically both of us. Technically a
very
dead part
cool.
of both of us.
Yeah, also true. All right, so this ritual, it goes off, it spreads throughout the ship. The creaking of the wood becomes extreme for a moment, but you realize quickly that's because it's changing. The crew that was already on the ship, like they're all like kind of moving around and like peeking into the room, but none of them are interfering with what's going on because the moss shifts, it ripples, it starts blooming into seaweed and like the kinds of moss that you would actually find growing on a ship. The wood itself becomes more of a lustrous sheen, hardening beneath your hands, and so does the medallion, right? It like the wood that has been carved sort of petrifies between yours and Tristan's hands, and you can see it kind of becoming coral, right? The ship too. It is just as buoyant. It's just tougher and alive now and
Oh,
part of you.
what what's your name?
Oh, it it was a tropa, but that doesn't sound right anymore because you realize as she starts to speak, because she is speaking through the ship, you can all hear her now. This is not the voice of a dryad anymore. It's the voice of a naiad. I think I should like a new one.
Well, go for it. I think that's so.
So something that seems a little bit more suited for the sea.
Yes, yes, something
How
that
about
works for both me and the ship.
now the sailors like to give their ships, powerful names. So you could have, you could allow the crew to those without to give it a whatever sailing vessel name, but to use your familiar name when they're caring about you specifically.
I like that. What would you call
So what,
me?
how about Aresta?
Yes,
Seems fairly awkward to me.
yes, I like it very much. Thank you. And For all of the fury and the anger and the petty hatred she was serving before, she is calm right now. She is at peace and happy with all of you.
Yay for diplomacy.
Right. Well, I'm thinking probably not gonna have as much of an issue with my stomach knowing that we're sailing on something that's alive. So weird.
As a matter of fact, she can pay attention now to what movements are making you sick and stop making them.
That's nice of her.
So what does the captain call the current ship?
So before it was called the Verdant Treader, they couldn't keep the letters on the side of the boat. They kept getting scrubbed off by the moss. She didn't like it at all.
Nice.
So it you said that the ship looks like it's coral, right?
Yeah.
Does it like I guess I would like go out and examine the ship
All right.
and say like it looks sleeker?
Yeah, it's shaped the same basic way, but all of the plants have kind of hardened and changed to living coral.
So what about the coral cutlass?
Oh, I love that. And so does Aresta. It appears on the side of the ship in Sylvan.
Nice touch.
Which I can't read.
Actually, it probably wouldn't appear in Sylvan. She's a naiad now. It would be appearing in Aquan. That makes more sense.
Can't read that either, but
Oh, well,
like
that's unfortunate, but well, I don't know. Maybe you can now, though. You're sort of bound together. Maybe you can't just look at it and read it. It takes you a little bit of looking at it, but she will
So
translate it for you, and you can like sort of like long form if you take a couple of minutes, read it now. It's just not like sight reading, right? It's like running it through Google Translate.
Have
Right,
we
so,
we've made it to shore?
How
Then?
does the crew handle what has just happened?
They're absolutely flabbergasted. Like they've never seen this before, but none of them are going to contest you taking command, not even the captain, because again, none of them have ever seen this before. This was big magic, and no, they're not gonna like the captain will step down to quartermaster and let you have the seat. It's you turn the ship and
it wasn't
on,
my
sorry.
intention, become captain or do all this. I was just looking to not have the spirit be gone and to possibly take the ship down with it. That just seemed like a waste.
And it would have been, and they weren't going to be able to keep the ship anyway, and I think they know that by now.
You kind of link yourself to the ship. I mean, I think we have to buy it now.
Yeah. I have how much gold?
Yeah.
4.
I have not.
I have 7 gold on me, but we did establish that back in the city, Raziel has like a hidden treasure chest full of old loot.
Robin, I sent you a message about that.
I know you did. I'm looking at it. I'm just waiting for you to drop the other shoe.
Yeah, I have a pearl, but it was given to me literally by my goddess. If I tried to turn that in, I think I'd be back in the
Back
bad
in
house
the
again.
gutter. Yeah.
Hey, I can owe you guys a favor back at out of the magistrate's office. Like, I don't know what that's worth to you guys, but
so what was the Verdant Treader's what did it do? Was it just a sailing vessel to transport people back and forth? Was it
It
a
yeah, it was a freighter. Like they were moving goods. There's plenty of space below deck to move goods in. Um, not that you have goods to move. It's a merchant vessel, or it was a merchant vessel. It's a bit leaner now that you've changed it. It's faster. Like you could do other things with it if you wanted to.
Out of curiosity, I mean, it's in my character's backstory that I work for like the government and shit of the area. Can I like put in a good word for them when we get to shore and be like, "Yo, this very experienced, very super poggers captain and his crew are looking to man a vessel. You know what? We always need more experienced salesmen out there. Come on, let them do.
Oh
You
yeah, like
literally
try to hook up the old crew. I like that. Yeah, you
yeah,
can
just give them
absolutely do that.
jobs and stuff.
well, I mean, some of them could stay here. Like, I don't know what our intentions are. Are we turning this into a seafaring campaign, or
I mean, like they are willing to stay and operate the ship, and it's probably not likely that we will be on it every single session, but yeah, we'll come back to it.
Listen,
Well,
our main place to hang out and meet up with people has always been a tavern that's a ship. So why wouldn't our new home base be a ship also?
that's a tavern.
Right?
there you go.
While you guys are all kind of talking, Tristan walks away and kind of takes the captain aside.
Yeah, and he's just still flabbergasted by all of this. Like he's still in his shock moment, and you can very well take advantage of that if you want.
So, look, I don't think you're going to be able to do much with this thing. So, when we get back to shore,
Hmm.
well, I'd like to take it off your hands. So, what's it going to be? What's the cost going to be?
Well, like you said, I can't really do anything with her.
Don't want to
Not
take you out of
me
a
looking
job,
up
though.
the normal cost of a sailing ship in 5e really quick. Okay, there we go. Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's also not that kind of ship, so I'm not using that number. He'll be like, "All right, I'll tell you what. I can't do anything with her in this state. There's no way that we're going to be able to keep sailing as we were. So I'll cut you a bargain at 500."
Right. Well,
And in this setting, like this specific ship would ordinarily be about 1,000. Like he's knocking half off. It's not like as absurd as it would be if we went by the book. What the hell?
So I think Tristan would, know enough. As intelligent, he probably would be delivering facts, not trying to like persuade, but just be like, you'd also have to realize that uh in doing this, we literally saved all your lives. Like she was gonna drown everybody because you're riding in her body and she didn't like it.
Yeah, what he is considering is that he is going to need to find a new home and he is going to need to find new livelihood.
right. So, in short, I'm not going to try to haggle him out of 500. That's great.
Right.
We'll
I was just was giving you,
Oh yeah,
giving the captain justification of how he got there. That's all.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, I'm no stranger to contracts, so let's write this one up, have it signed, and it'll be ours by the time we get to shore, eh?
and he'll nod and like withdraw to the office on the ship to like go write up the contract. He'll make 2 copies, one to keep on the ship and one to give to you.
And once we have that, I'll write down an address and hand it to him and say, when you're back in town, go here, speak to a man named Simon.
All right, we'll do.
And when I walk over to the rest of you guys and say, well, I think we have us a ship. Or more suitably said, I think Giltor, you have yourself a ship.
I'm not exactly thrilled about being captain, but so be it. What are we gonna do with her?
What she want to do?
Well, I've got a fair bit of experience in hunting pirates. I just don't know if I'd want to bring a vessel like this into such a fray.
I think she's a living being at this point.
There's
She's
a
got her own agency, so
there's a shimmer of mist, and she sort of manifests, not physically. She doesn't have like her own meat to touch things and interact with them with, but it's like an illusion. Like your hand would go right through her, but you can very much see her standing there. And she leans on a barrel, or pretends to lean on a barrel. It's very much performative. Like there's nothing to lean. And she says, "I do have one request. I think I would like a little chapel on board at least."
I'm certain we can arrange
I'll
that.
get to work when we get back home.
And she nods, and she's like, "Yeah, if I think that I would like it if people came here to commune with Narine. I quite like her." And she says this like somebody would say, "I quite like my landlord," like she doesn't quite get the severity of this yet, but like she was a dryad. They're not, it just works differently for them.
I mean,
So-
I'm thinking about this vessel, and I'm thinking of a new lifestyle for Gethor for like a marriage cruise. You have a chapel on top, bar in the bottom. You know,
I don't think a bar is a good idea.
For Gelthor.
Not for Galthor.
Well, not
Wow.
to drink himself, but
So
I've thrown up enough in this ship for everyone. I think leaving alcohol out of it's a good call.
Are you
Yeah.
suggesting that Gelthor turn this vessel into a wedding venue?
I mean, you already have Klaus there to do all the weddings.
fair. I mean,
I could technically do it as well.
Yeah.
I am a cleric.
Priest.
very.
Well, he's a better speaker
so-
than you, though.
The cleric captain of the Coral Cutlass.
Oh, it's very. I like it. Say that 10 times fast.
that. So
Man,
uh,
Ted's just
was
firing
4.
every chamber of his dad joke gun tonight.
Right.
every day of my life, dude.
I have
Every
to give
day
you
of
at
my
least
life.
a point of inspiration for the sheer amount of puns that you have been laying down.
So the vessel was, to transport good and people. I don't know exactly what we still have to accomplish, but we could see what the world has to offer, transport, people to and from, allow those that wish to have a new experience aboard, an interesting vessel, tell the tale and the stories. I think I don't know how many more years I have left to give, but I think spending them at the sea certainly be better than what I've done with most of the last few years of my life.
Yeah, I dig that. All right, you guys do eventually make it back to the dock. The ship comes in. The dock workers are very confused. They've never seen a ship like this. You've got a crowd that sort of like comes around to gawk, like as you guys are getting off the boat. Like word spreads like wildfire that like this crazy ship just came in and everybody wants to look at it.
That's great, man. We left Port with a Nissan, came back with a Maserati. This is awesome.
So, well, as we wind down, I want to see like you guys are home now, and you haven't been home in quite some time. What do you do once you've gotten here? And I want to start with Raziel this time and go clockwise because we've been doing it the opposite all day, and I feel bad.
I think being away for so long and communing only through prayer and meditation, I think that Raziel is going to try to find whether it's an actual place here that he can go. And I'm thinking like maybe some former quarters or seat of power of St. Adelaide, wherever he can go to more closely commune with her. Honestly, just trying to find out what does she want from him.
Okay. All right, just for my personal clarification, I was listening. I just had an ADHD moment and brain farted. Adelaide?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know if I can go. If there's, I don't remember where she went. But if I can physically go to her.
Yeah,
then,
you can. Her lair is like in the sewer system.
Okay.
Like it's in a cistern that isn't quite in the sewer, but it's connected to the sewer. There was water
That's
in there
right.
once, and there is not now.
So I think you would almost see after we sort of we all go our separate ways to our own homes sometime after checking in on the homestead with the I've totally forgotten their names. I got a couple kids living at my house now.
Yeah, you got Neveress
Neveress
and what was his name? It was something Nordic sounding.
Uric, yes. Just making sure they're all right, letting them know that we're back, and then after nightfall, I'll, under cover of dark and shadow, go to Adelaide, and basically just, I want to know. I almost see it like cinematically, just walking into her presence and taking a knee before her and waiting for her to tell me what she wants from me.
Yeah, she will approach, lay a hand on top of your head, and tell you, like, I have missed you in your absence, and we have much to discuss and to get done in the coming days. I am so glad to have you home, Raziel.
And I think you just see
Oh, I seem to have lagged.
Can you hear me?
I'm rubber banding? Okay, I think I can hear you now.
Okay. I think, just in that moment where he's kneeling and she's like placed a hand on his shoulder, you see a minor representation of that. What is it called? The oh my gosh, it's my own feature. The Celestial Revelation. You see that necrotic shroud as those wings sort of unfurl, but less flared out and more sort of folded back, almost as a adding to the bow, forming almost like a cloak of these spectral wings.
And she smiles. Because she knows what they looked like before, and she likes them better like this. Klaus, what do you do when you get back in town?
Ooh. First thing I get back into town, I go for a little quick shopping adventure. Not a big one, just a small one. And when we eventually settle back into our home, I give Iridia here, and it's a pair of gloves, working science gloves.
She will put them on immediately and hug you super appreciatively. Like, she understands why. She understands, like, the point of it, and she is very touched.
I can't stop you from being who you are, but please. We just got together. I cannot lose you.
I will be so much more careful. And from that moment, she will never take them off unless it's to hold your hand.
Oh. That's cute.
Tristan.
Well, first thing is to go home. And I tell Simon, Simon, maybe don't be mad, but I'm pretty sure I just bought us a boat. Well, for Geltar, but I bought a boat.
I'm not mad. You can easily afford it. And I'm not fighting with you tonight. As a matter of fact, there will be no fighting for the next couple of days because I don't intend to let you talk that much. He's gonna pick you up and carry you off
Right.
because it's been a while and he has missed you and he's not like it's not a conversation. He's just going to show you that he missed you.
I'll tell him, well, I suppose I'll keep my mouth shut unless you really don't want me to.
Oh, you know I don't really want you to. And he'll like probably pull the black screen down on you if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's a good fade to black moment.
Literal black
Geltar.
curtains.
So I have a note here on my character sheet.
Okay.
If Aresta is looking for a shrine, um, I've got a fishman named Creo, who's a servant of Nareen.
Yes.
I was gonna get a hold of him and see whether he could help me gather up the necessary things. And I don't remember exactly what his status was or what's going on. But if he has no other place to go, then I would ask him to come aboard and to kind of maintain the chapel.
So he lives in the ocean and he is very easily able to keep up with like coming along with the ship. And as a matter of fact, it's like as long as it sometimes takes the normal routes that he does, it will be more convenient for him to do that. So he's fully on board. And as a matter of fact, it won't just be him. You occasionally get other Creo, right? Because that was the name of his species, not his given name. He doesn't really have one.
All right. What was his name then?
But he was calling himself Creo like it was his name. He doesn't have one. None of them do. They're just the Creo.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Crazy.
They all call themselves Creo like it's their name, but it's not.
Wow. So
the whole species. They're all Creo.
So they're kind of like Pokemon, but more sentient. So I would then, kind of do a commune with Nareen. What do I got here? I got some kind of thing here. Well, I mean, I would basically spend time in prayer, trying to pull Aresta into
Yes.
a conversation with Nareen, and it looks like somebody dropped because our windows are out of shape. There we go.
I look away for 1 minute.
Thank you for fixing that, Jake. But I would basically be looking to commune, trying to pull Aresta into this if at all possible, and kind of foster a stronger connection. It's quite clear my time on the vessel. Like I think I've recovered by now from the my addiction, at least until things ramp up again between a certain tiefling and Asimar. But
Yeah, I like it.
But yes, that's what I think Gelthor's up to.
All right, cool. In that case, my last note before I cut us off just a little bit early is I think that the ship is going to grow over time. I think that coral is going to spread and you're going to end up with more rooms like over the course of years. Like, I'm not sure that that'll be relevant for this campaign, but I just think that's neat and wanted to put it out there.
Absolutely. All right.
right.
So with that note, thank you for coming along on this wild ride. This was an absolutely amazing episode, in my opinion. Thanks for you out there for watching. Thank you, Robin, for running. As always, you can find the links to where you can find people down in the description below. Hopefully we can be back to our regular monthly game with this in the months to come and see where the old guard winds up going next. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Nerdy.